We're heading Wimmera Footy Way here on the Friday night sports show, repeated Saturday morning, and we've given most of our correspondents the night off. Not for Wimmera because the Warrack Eagles are having a big celebration this weekend. So we've got Scotty Stewart on the line. Hey, Scotty, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, Wayne. Going well.
Been around the footy club getting a few things organised and a lot of tents and things up, ready for the big reunion?
Yeah, that's right. It's a bit of planning been put into this weekend. It's probably, what would you say, at least 2 years, probably 3 years in the making. This celebration it's going to happen over our long weekend. So she's all systems go, and then hopefully the weather holds out for us this weekend, and we can enjoy a great weekend, which it should be big and it should be a great weekend.
Yeah, looking at how it's sort of begun, it is a reunion that would have been last year, but because of the COVID situation, has been transferred forward to 21 years. Warrack, Nabil and Brim football clubs amalgamated to become the Warrack Eagles. You, of course, Scotty, are quite famous from the Brim Football Club days and played in premierships there and won the medal in the Mallee League and all sorts of things, I think, if I remember.
I was part of all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I didn't quite. No, not the main one there, but we were at with the Brim boys there, and great times up there at Brim. And I actually come into Warwick in '97, and so when the merger did take place, I was actually playing for Warwick, but split me time in between both, and had some fun along the way. And as you say, this was meant to be it was going to be a 20-year celebration of the Warrack Eagles, but COVID sort of knocked that out last year. So we'll put it down as a happy 21st, and it should be a good weekend for that one.
Of course, you did play in the 2002 Grand Final and Premiership win. Now, that was the year after the merger, and a Premiership and the last Premiership that has been won by the Warrack Eagles at senior level 20 years ago. So it is a fascinating reunion.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. Had a pretty good response from most of the players, and coming back, we've got a few that obviously some are interstate, and they unfortunately can't make it back. A couple in WA and a couple in Darwin, but won't be here. But I've got really good response from everyone else, and as you say there, the 2002 year, it seemed to work that way around this area. I don't know if other leagues happen to have this, but you'd have a team merge in the first year and you'd have a bit of success, but a lot of teams around here, they'd win their premiership in the second year, and we were lucky enough to do that in '02. And it was I think we've spoken about it a bit before with how we all went about the '02 Grand Final with playing Ararat. We lost to them 3 times throughout the year, but we played them in the 4th time, and we nabbed them in the last quarter in the Grand Final there. We kicked 3-15 in the last quarter, and we got up by 15 points. So it was a huge weekend, and I reckon there'll be a fair bit of reminiscing, a few good stories coming out of it this weekend, 20 years on.
Oh, I think there will be. Of course, the Brim Reserves won in 1992, 30 years for those boys. And you know a lot of those guys because some of them played some senior football with you at Brim.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I was part of the Brim Football Club in 1992, and the Rezzies, they took out the flags. As you say, 30 years. The Brim Rezzies won a couple of flags around the 90s, and that being a 30-year celebration, that's the one that they're recognising this weekend. And it's really good because, there's others that they're recognising throughout the weekend. There's a 2012 Warrack Eagles Reserves Premiership team. There's A-grade netballers. They won premierships back-to-back in 2010 and 2011. Then you get into the juniors brigades and the under-17 footballers, or they won back-to-back flags in '04 and '05, and there's some, just the future of the club was involved in that sort of stuff. You talk with kids like Kyle Cheney and Clayton Hinkley, and Ryan McKenzie and Nick Peters, and just to name a few. But a couple of those boys went on and played AFL football. So they were the future, and they're the real dominant teams back in 04 and 05. And a lot of those kids have continued and played, through senior footy with the Warrack Eagles, which is great. And it's going to happen tomorrow. We're still going to have Ryan and Kyle playing against Imbula this weekend. So it's it just all ties in. As I said there, the netballers, there was a patch there where we had a real dominant period of junior netballers. They won premierships from 13s through to 17s, and so all that'll be recognised over the weekend. And a lot of history. It's 21 years. I suppose it's not the longest of histories going on, but you cram a lot into 21 years, don't you?
Yeah, you certainly do. If you haven't been playing, once you finish your career, it does seem to fly afterwards. But I want to go back to last week's matches, and it was an opportunity that just slipped away for the Warrack Eagles. They took on the Horsham Saints 13-19, the Saints to the Eagles 11-7, and at Coghlan Park, I think it's one that you could have at halftime even said, we're in this and we can beat these guys, but they just came out in that third quarter and did enough to set up a win.
They certainly did, and a little bit of breezy conditions there last week, and the Saints made the most of it in that first quarter, 6-5 to 1-1, and that's basically at the end of the day where the game was won. And the Eagles boys, they fought hard in that second quarter, coming back with 5 goals to 1, and only trailing by a couple at the half. But it's funny with those sorts of games. You might have a bit of an advantage, and you think, we'll use it up in the last quarter. But 9 times out of 10, your tickets are pretty well spent, and it takes a big effort to make up, whatever that was, 4 or 5 goal difference at 3/4 time last weekend. And the Saints, they just smelt the victory, and they went on with it, and with it moved to within equal points, as we'll talk about other results from last week. So it was a very important win for the Saints, but probably one that slipped away for the Eagles. In the end, they could have found themselves in the top 5.
Yeah, I reckon so. Ryan McKenzie, brilliant. He's back to some really good form. Matty Johnson, Sean McKenzie played well. Kyle Cheney kicked 4 and Ryan kicked 3, and Matty Johns a couple, while over in the winners' club room it was Angus Martin 4 and Sam Klein and Mitch Martin also chimed in with some good performances. Other matches, and it was Ararat showing why they are 8-0 at this stage of the season. 9-10-64 to Horsham D, 6-15-51. But from what I'm told, the D's had their chances here and just couldn't kick straight.
Yeah, that's right. You look at the final scores at the end of the day, and I actually caught up with Matty Wilder, the Ararat coach, there last weekend, and he said, how much of a tight battle it was right throughout the whole day. And looking at scores there, the Demons are leading by 6 behind at half time. So some inaccurate kicking in that second quarter didn't help them. But the Ararat boys were just able to steady in that last quarter and make their 8th win for the season and keep their unbeaten record going at the top of the table. So they were pretty happy, and they're all going to sit out a bye this weekend. So it would have been a nice one to put the win on the board last weekend and then sit out with a bye.
I think so, and I'll tell you what, they know how to win at Minyip Matoa. Have you noticed, Scotty, and I don't know if it's something that has been a history thing for them, because you've played against them over many, many years, decades in your career and then post-career. Minyip Matoa win the close ones, 5-14-44 to Stall, 6-7-43. Is that something that I've got right? Because it just seemed to me they do win the close ones.
Lately, you're right. You bang on. You take a couple of performances that they've done this year even, and just got over the line in by single-digit margins. They've had some great battles this year. I think the Giants earlier in the year and Ararat a couple of weeks ago. So they do, don't they? They just keep getting over the line. And at one point, obviously, it's anyone's game in that last quarter, and they had to do it the hard way, I suppose you call it. They kept Stall scoreless in that final term when they had to make up that 5-6 point deficit at 3/4 time. But another important win for them. They keep their record at 6-1 and heading into their bye this weekend, so they would have been pretty happy to get away with that. And going on the flip side there with Stall, they would have been on equal points with the Boroughs if just that 1 point advantage, isn't it? But that's the way it falls, and they'll bounce back when they return to the park in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, they will. Okay, just a quick comment on Neil and the famous win, 7 goals, 6-48, beating the Southern Mallee Giants 6-10-46. And boy, the Southern Mallee Giants have won 5 in a row losses now and find themselves teetering on the edge of the dropping off the top 5 when the game between Dimboola and Warrack Nabil is decided this weekend potentially.
Yeah, that's right. It's you look at that top 5, and we said about the Eagles last week. They with the win last week, they would have entered the top 5, not knowing that Neil was going to produce the upset of the round and knock the Giants over by a couple of points. The Daisy Thomas inspired Neil boys. The results were filtering through last weekend, and she was a tight battle right through. And the Tigers have held on to break. I think they worked out as a 1,029-day drought of posting a win. So I'm thinking Neil might have been going off a bit last weekend with that victory over the Giants. But yeah, at the end of the day, the Giants, they still managed to sit there in 5th position. But as you say, this match between the Eagles and the Roos, the winner of that, I would imagine, will take over 5th spot for this week at least anyway, until everyone returns the following weekend.
Big weekend it is at Warrack Nabil's Anzac Park, and your Eagles take on Dimboola. Dimboola, of course, favoured to win this game. They have won 4 games this year, albeit in premiership points they're just on the 1 win. But if they do get a win against you, they would go to 2 wins. Their percentage would be better than the Giants, so they would become the 5th place side. If you win this game, you'll go to 3 wins, and the Giants are only on 2 wins, so therefore you would become the 5th place side. So who wins?
There's a lot to play for, isn't it? And it's going to be a huge battle. At the end of the day, you got to think that Dimboola would start favourite, and this was with results that have happened so far. But you never know with these celebration weekends and reunion weekends. There's going to be a huge crowd there at Anzac Park this weekend, and you just got to take the Nil boys last weekend when they knocked over the Giants. They would have had a huge crowd in attendance for Daisy Thomas's appearance, and by all reports it was a big day and a huge crowd. So, look, at the end of the day, it might be a bit of an upset if the Eagles got home. But as I say, you never know in these days. Everyone will be keen and ready to go. And I know in our club we have 2 weeks off after this weekend with the rest of the round next week, and then a bye the following week. So plenty of time to recover. So we'll give it a good shot.
They're certainly going to be giving it a good shot across all the grades too, because when you come out in the reserves, a real good chance to get into the contention again for 5th spot on your reserve side, along with the 17s boys when they come out to play against Dimmy. It's going to be a great match of football against them. Dimboola are 4th on the ladder, Eagles are 7th there, and then in the 14-year-olds in the morning, it's going to be a good game when the Dimboola side, who are second to bottom, take on the boys from Warrack Eagles, who are 4th and who want to shore up that place in the top 5. So a great day. Mate, we'll look forward to hearing all that you've got to say about it the following week. We won't have too much to talk about your Eagles because you won't be playing for a couple of weeks after this, but it looks like it's going to be a good day weather-wise and a lot of people. So you have a great time at Anzac Park, and our best to everybody celebrating the Warrack Eagles.
Yeah, good on you, Wayne. It will be a great weekend. Thank you.